Did you know that there are rapists? That's right, rapists who then sue to gain access to the children they fathered from the crimes. Joining me, prosecutor and author of And Justice for Some, Wendy Murphy, and her client. Client is in disguise to protect her identity. We're going to call her Jane tonight. Jane, gave birth to her attacker's child when she was 15. Jane, my understanding is he raped you, and now he's coming after you, this time in court. What does he want?
He wants visitation rights.
And this is hard to get my head around, Jane. What does that mean? What happened?
I was raped at 14, and we went through a trial, and he pleaded guilty, and now he wants to see the child.
Wendy, help me here. This just seems so outrageous that the guy who is the rapist now wants visitation, and is he going to have to pay child support as well?
Well, let me go back and explain a little bit about what happened, because it is as crazy as it sounds. What Jane just said is outrageous, because it's really that simple, Dr. Drew. This man admitted his guilt, admitted to raping a 14-year-old middle schooler, causing a pregnancy. She was in religious school at the time, chose to have the child, thankfully, and is a wonderful, loving mom, with the help of her own mother, is raising this beautiful little girl who's now 3 years old. When the man admitted his guilt and was found guilty of rape in a criminal court, the judge said, I sentence you to 16 years probation, and your conditions of probation include that you have to go to family court and deal with your rights over there in family court. Now, that's the problem, if you ask me, that put the ball rolling in the wrong direction. This is not a family. This was a felony. But the judge in the criminal case was trying to treat this as some kind of romantic interlude, thinks that this guy should go off and have, therapy in family court and become a daddy. He is not a daddy. He's a rapist. But when he went to family court and the judge there said, you got to pay child support, because the criminal judge said you got to pay child support as part of the punishment of your crime, he said, if I'm going to pay child support, then I want visitation rights. Hadn't seen the kid, of course, up to that point for almost 2.5 years.
He's being an ass to try to get out of paying the child support. Jane, I got to ask you, this guy victimized you as a child, let's face it, and now he's victimizing you again. What are you feeling?
I feel hurt. I feel like it's happening all over again, and that the justice system isn't helping me be protected.
Yeah. I mean, you say that somewhat dispassionately. I would think you would be really angry.
I am.
How old is your child?
I'm hurt.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
I don't understand how this could happen. Like, we're supposed to live in a country that, helps protect us, and all they talk about is justice, and I go to bed crying every night because I'm not getting that, because he can hurt me all over again and no one's helping.
Wendy, this is the core of this thing, is that this is a young lady who has been victimized, and the system is victimizing her again, or allowing this guy to victimize her again. Isn't there more here than just parental rights? Aren't there some rights for the victims as well here? I mean, we're going to get into more parental rights across this show tonight. And I understand he's the biological father, and I'm not saying, I don't know, it gets very complicated on what his parental circumstance is. But how about the victim? Doesn't she get a little something here, too, from the system?
Well, let me say this, please. Fatherhood is not about sperm, okay? Just because you create a child through the biological mechanism doesn't give you anything, in my opinion, and particularly if you've then been convicted of rape. The problem here is that by sending this guy off to family court to pay child support and all that comes with in terms of the rights to affect the child's education, healthcare decisions, where the child lives, I could go on.
Yes.
That judge in the criminal court sentenced my client to 16 years of an unwanted legal relationship with her rapist, and she's supposed to tell her 3-year-old little girl, go on a visit with the man who raped your mommy?
It's funny, Wendy, when I hear you say that, I realize that not only is her rights of protection as a victim but her rights as a mom. So the mother's rights are being diminished here relative to the rapist. Now, we called the lawyer for the man who had raped Jane in order to get his response. He did not return our calls. Let us go to our callers real quick, if you guys don't mind. This is Maria in California. Maria, go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Maria.
I am completely appalled as a victim myself. I was raped as a child by my own father due to the lack of understanding from a judge, another ignorant judge. Rape victims are actually sentenced to life. We live with this every day of our lives on a daily basis. It never goes away. Now, if he was actually pleaded guilty, foreign sex offenders prohibited from having any contact from children, is the judge not afraid that this child will be the next victim? When does this end?
Maria, great question. Wendy, let's answer that quickly. I've got to go to break. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the very quick answer is in most rape cases, that's exactly what a judge would say, especially when you rape a child. A 14-year-old is a child. This judge didn't see either the child born of the rape or my client as victims. He sees them as a family. It's perverse. It makes no sense. That's why we've appealed to the Supreme Judicial Court of Massachusetts.
Jane, are you okay with this conversation? I see you sitting there somewhat blankly. You all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
It's hard, isn't it? I mean, you cry every night, you said, with this. Please don't let us make this even worse for you, okay?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.